can see the control box. It shows you the amount of current, the indicators to show the conditions of the borehole. But also, these particular boreholes can be controlled, remote control, and can be controlled manually. Some of them are very far from this plant. I can tell you some are like 20, 25 kilometers away from where we are standing, and we are using...
Yes, you control them from here.
Operate, we can see the amount of flow, the amount of water coming in and out as well.
Interesting.
Yes.
So from here now, where do we move next?
What happens is that from the borehole, we're sending this water into the aeration. What the purpose of the aerator is that we need to keep the quality of water in terms of processing. Here is a processing plant. So what we look at first, we have to look at the quality of water that we are giving to our customer. When the borehole water is coming out of the borehole, there are requirements that WHO standard that he sets that water must reach these standards before people can drink.
You talk about aeration first. Therefore, when we move from here, we're going to the aeration department. For some of us that don't know how water is processed, what's the term aeration mean?
Thank you. What we're trying to do with aeration is that we're trying to improve the pH content of the water. If you like, we make it more soft and make it more drinkable, like to drink. Because here, the quality of water in Gambia, we have always been proud that quality is always good. But to meet the required standards of WHO, when we are coming from our borehole, we get standard sets of pH of 6.1, and the WHO standard is from 6.5 to 8.5. So we use the aeration to build up to that level. We have another chemical that we can apply again to improve the pH content of the water. Because we do two things, it's the aeration and also disinfection. We use chlorine to disinfect the water. So I will show you also in the process where we do that process of treating the water for disinfection. In case of transporting, because the water is coming raw from the boreholes. When from the boreholes, you can see from this borehole, it's joining, there's a line, there's a pipeline here. Yeah. All the pipes are linked from the borehole, from the field. They come through here and enter through that wall. That's where this one also is connected. Then it goes through that line to the aeration unit where we're going.
This is the aeration unit?
Yes. Thank you. Rohi, what we are doing here, like I said earlier, that's where we are improving the pH content of the water. The raw water pump water from the boreholes is coming through this line. You see this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 connections. That's where they are all taking. From there, they are going through a nozzle. In that nozzle, the water is being poured through these grills. From the grills, you can see now there's a space in between that allows more particles of air to go into and that improves the pH content of the water. From the aeration unit, then the water will all go down, and there is a collection point there. Like I say, we improve the pH content, makes the water very nice and soft to be able to drink enough.
The water gets very nice and soft. Look at the way it has 4 layers.
Yes.
Is there anything that's sifting in the water?
It's not actually sifting it. What it's doing is just allowing that slow movement. Because now you see, when you are seeing on top, if you could see, it's coming with real pressure. So when it shoots on the ground, there is soap on the top one, so it's going to go through it. Because we want it to have a slow movement, and that space, we have air, start breaking it and allowing those things that interact with the air.
So each borehole has one aeration unit, or they have more than one?
No, of course, if you see here, you're talking about 8, and actual amount of boreholes coming here is 17. So they are all linked into one big pipe. So from that pipe, that's where this feeding into these aerator units. They are all connected. As they are coming, all the waters that are coming from these 17 boreholes are all mixed along the way, coming to the treatment plant. This is a very big treatment plant because we're receiving like 300 liters per second of water. So from here, after the aeration, all the water is now collected back, goes into these pipes, and then, yeah, this is where, from the aeration, because they are divided into units. This one unit, 1, 2, 3, 4 units.
4 units in this plant?
Yes, exactly. So then from here, all the water falling from this particular unit has been collected through this. The water is already safe, obviously. And
make it more purified.
Exactly. From our borehole, you can open the tap and drink. It's safe to drink. Actually, we just want to make sure that it is as above standard, not below standard in any way. So that is why we have to pass all these processes. But in Gambia, I always say this, we are proud that we have a very good quality of water for now, which I always advise that we should protect, we should not abuse because it is good and we don't just take care of it. So it's a responsibility on all of us to make sure we keep it as good as it is.
You talk protection of the water. When you're talking about protection, how can Gambians protect this water?
Exactly, very important. What normally the most dangerous part is that how do we contaminate the aquifer? The aquifer is where we are tapping our source, where we are collecting the water from. If you drill like a well and later you change this well, you want to abandon it, never use it as a toilet. Because if you do that, you are contaminating the aquifer. Because the well already is where the source is. So if you pour anything there, it's going straight to the supply. And always you will find a NAWEC always try to drill boreholes away from settlement. Because all what we are trying to do still now, we are trying to protect our source. But normally, as you move away from people and drill a borehole, people tend to go and settle around the borehole because they think it's development. But what I will advise to those people, then they don't need to drill local latrines that are very deep. It's not very shallow, very, very shallow.
Going back to the process, now that we've seen where the pipes are, they already from the aeration unit. Now you said they're going to the chlorine. Yeah. So where next now?
Then I can show you from here where we are injecting the chlorine. The chlorination injection point is what you have at the back there. I will just open there and later I will show you the plant, the actual pumps themselves where the chlorine is coming in. Here is the chlorination unit where we inject the chlorination. As it is coming, where all this water is coming through, it's going to come here and the injection of chlorine and lime is done here.
The water when it is distributed from the tanks, those are the reserve tanks, yeah. They move to here.
Yes, exactly. Like I explained earlier, from the aeration unit it goes to the reservoir where we store water. From there we transporting them with these pumps to the elevated water tanks into the towns and villages along the coast. Yeah. From here, these particular pumps, they are pumping to Brikama. They are pumping to 3 tanks in Brikama. It's pumping into 3 tanks in Brikama. And those tanks are talking about 1,000 cubic meters and 2 500 cubic meter tanks. That's where these pumps are pumping. When they are operating normally, you have 2 operating and 1 on standby. Presently, these are, I will call them the smaller sizes, but the big ones are there.